This is the ExtraTime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast coming to you from Richmond Park on a dramatic Friday night as I speak, but most likely Saturday morning, afternoon or evening as you listen. St Patrick's Athletic getting a 2-1 victory against Dundalk here. They had a man sent off after they conceded an equaliser, but found a way to win. Lonergan setting up Carty to give them a 2-1 victory. We'll get the thoughts of former St Pat's defender Colin Hawkins on that very shortly. Elsewhere in the league, Shamrock Rovers had 3 players sent off in a 1-0 defeat to Cork City at Turner's Cross. Neal Horgan, ex-Cork City fullback, will join us to talk about that. Drogheda beat UCD by 3-1. Draper with another 2 goals for the Drogs. Paul Crowley will join us to tell us all about it. And on the TV game on RTE, they really should have chosen this one, but they didn't. They chose Bohs and Shelbourne, and they got a 0-0 draw. Reaction to come, and analysis of all of those games to come here on the ExtraTime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast. But first, let's talk about what happened here in Richmond Park. St Pat's beating Dundalk by 2-1. Colin Hawkins, who was on co-commentary for the LOI TV stream of the game. What did you make of it?
Absolutely loved the game, Oisin. It was an absolute cracking game to come to. The crowd had gone home absolutely buzzing. That's what you want to see. It was a brilliant game. Some great goals scored. Obviously the flashpoint with Jake Mulroney is disappointing. He's going to be suspended now, possibly 3 game suspension. But the reaction from St Pat's when they went to 1-1 was superb, and their 2 goals are very similar. Just thinking about them there, the one from Mark Doyle and Conor Carty. Maybe Stephen O'Donnell will look at him, won't be too happy. The defenders maybe sleeping in the back stick on both of them, but a really entertaining game. Two teams trying to play football in the correct way, and Pat's definitely shaded it over the night, over the 90 minutes.
I'm not sure if you can hear it in the background, but the St Pat's fans are filing out on the far side. They're singing a song that is uncomplimentary to Stephen O'Donnell. There's a real Taylor Swift energy off that. They just can't get over their ex. That's football, and these things happen, and fans hold on to it. I think it's a bit needless, but it kind of fed into the atmosphere tonight, and certainly at full time, this felt like more than just 3 points, didn't it?
It did, and in fairness to Stephen, he was very brave with the substitutions. At half time he introduced 3 players, and they looked like they were going to be the ones. Tulloch obviously got the instant impact with the goal, and it looked like Stephen was going to be the one celebrating that they kick on and win the game. But again, just as it then went to 3 at the back on their very first attack, then Pats have gone down and got the winner, which turned out to be winner. So Stephen was brave. He saw it at half time that the game was there to be won, but it's backfired a little bit, and Pats have come out with the 3 massive points for them.
Well, let's break down the first goal. St Pat's going 1-0 up to Mark Doyle. It was a very decent ball in from Mulroney, who was to be involved in one of the other key incidents of this game later on. Shepherd pushed it away. There wasn't much more he could have done with it, but Doyle reacted for his 4th of the season. The Dundalk defence won't be happy with it, will they?
No, again, as a right full there, you just a better body position. You can see what's coming behind you, but I don't think even Mark Doyle was there. And as you said, Shepherd done well to parry to his right. Mark Doyle with the simple finish. He did 1 or 2 chances just before that, so it was an easy finish for him in the end. Then
St Pat's conceded in a very disappointing way. As you say, Stevie O'Donnell was very brave in his substitutions, made 3, and it certainly worked out. Tulloch with the equaliser. He was one of the subs. A header 2.5 minutes in to the second half. A goal that, again, St Pat's won't be happy with conceding.
No, they won't. Tulloch, he was given far too much room in the box. A danger man like that, he needs to be picked up, so he got in between the 2 centre halves too easily. It's probably the first time any bit of quality came in from the left hand side, because I thought Anto Breslin, for me, he was probably the man of the match, to be honest, when he went to right full. Again, it's not his normal position. They had 2 bad injuries in the first half from St Pat's, and again, full credit for them to be able to dig in like that, losing 2 defenders like that. But Anto Breslin did a great job, but on that particular goal, they didn't defend it particularly well.
Let's talk about the sending off incident that happened not long after that. We've seen replays, but again, I think it's fair to say, Colin, as we speak on Friday night, almost immediately after the game, we're still not 100% sure why Ray Matthews, the referee, sent off Mulroney and didn't punish Conor Malley at all, despite the fact that he got him into a headlock.
No, I thought there was a lot went on, and it went on for a little bit longer. But for me, I thought we were going to see 2 red cards or be very lenient and 2 yellows. But again, when he got him in a headlock, I thought he was going to be in trouble. Was it for the little kick Mulroney gave before that, or was there more that we didn't see? And there was handbags between other players as well. So a difficult one for the referee and the linesman to get involved with. But ultimately it's cost Jake Mulroney and a suspension. But again, ultimately it didn't cost Pats the point, because they kicked on really well after that.
I think Malley might have actually got a yellow, but I again, in the craziness of after the match, I've lost my notes, so I'd have to get that confirmed. What about the winner, Lonergan? When he came on, we said he'd had pace and work rate, and he combined that with his skill to set up Carty.
Yeah, he sure did, and again he got in around the back post. Conor Carty with a nice finish we just went in off the crossbar. But again, they went for it. Pats. They went with brave substitutions. They put a lot of more energy up front. Owen Doyle that was brought off, and again, just rewards for Jon Daly. I said it during the game. He seemed to be the calmest man in the stadium and seemed to have an absolute plan right from minute one. And there was a really good shape to them tonight, despite the injuries. And hopefully the two boys at the back, we wish them well with them injuries because one of them in particular didn't look good, so hopefully them boys aren't as bad as feared.
And what about the scenes at the end of the game? Live on LOI TV, you said it felt like they were celebrating a league win. The noise was the loudest I've heard here at Inchicore in quite some time, and the players just looked like they were flying off the ground. Like it felt like something more than just 3 points and a win in a standard league match.
Yeah, absolutely. The place was rocking, and again, full credit to Jon Daly. I heard a lot of disrespectful stuff during the week that maybe he shouldn't have got the job or other people should have been looked at. But he'd done absolutely brilliant in the previous 4 games. He's got a huge, really strong track record as a player. He's worked under people like Craig Levine. He knows what he's doing, and I could see it tonight. The difference in the way they played, the tempo from the first minute. I hadn't seen that previously here in the last few games. So definitely the players responded to what he's doing, and the celebration at the end. But again, this club demands silverware. It doesn't want to be languishing 5th, 6th position. It wants to be up there challenging the Rovers and the Derry. They still have a bit of a way to go, but they're definitely on the right track. And
he made the switches during the game under tough circumstances. He lost 2 players through injury in the first half, and yet still they look solid. It says an awful lot about the way he has planned things, the way he has set things out, the way players knew their job even when circumstances changed.
Absolutely, the back 4 did really well, but again, when you've got Dean Linus looking very dominant in behind them and Jamie Lennon in front of them, I think it was 150th game for the club. Again, 2 really solid units in front of the back 4. It really helped them. But again, with them changes, you got Jay Clellan going on the wrong side. You've Anto Breslin switching over to right back, and they just, in fairness, Sam Curtis kept getting moving right full into centre back, but they just dealt with it. They all did their jobs, but again, they kept offering that attacking threat, which is really impressive to see.
What was Stevie O'Donnell take from this game and this performance?
Again, it's the first time I've seen Dundalk live. I spoke to Stephen before the game. He's got a lot of really good players he's brought in, introduced to the club late on, and has very little time to work with them. And he's had a lot of injuries. They're starting to come back. You see a really strong bench tonight. I was blown away by Keith Ward when he came on in the second half. Whether you can get him into team regularly, I know he's on the wrong side age-wise, but again, he gets them playing. But a lot of positives in the Dundalk team. There's a lot of stuff there for. They're going to be languishing in around your Pats and your Bows. There's definitely going to be that little mini battle for that 3rd, 4th place. I think Rovers and Derry are still a little bit ahead of the rest, but I think Stephen, he's going to be absolutely good at coming away from Pats after beating them already in the season. But I'm sure he'll look at it, analyse it, look at the positives, and you've no time to feel sorry for yourself. You got to dust down and go again.
Okay, Colin Hawkins, thank you very much for joining us here in Richmond Park, where St. Pat's have beaten Dundalk by 2-1. Still to come on the extratime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast, Paul Crowley will tell us how Drogheda beat UCD by 3-1. Neal Horgan was watching Cork City's 1-0 victory against Shamrock Rovers. That's a 2nd win in a row for Cork City. It's a big one as well. Of course, last week they beat Sligo Rovers. Also, Owen Heary will analyse Bow's scoreless draw against Shelbourne. We'll also run through the First Division results. Galway winning again, and they are flying away with it. Right now, though, let's get some reaction from Richmond Park. We'll hear from the 2 managers. First, Jon Daly of St. Pat's. Jon Daly, manager of St. Patrick's Athletic. A 2-1 win in what I'd call dramatic circumstances here at Richmond Park. What are your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, it was very dramatic. No, it was a very entertaining game. I thought we started really well. Had loads of energy. Look, I think the way the game kind of went and ebbed and flowed, I think, I thought when we scored and we went ahead in the first half, I thought we were justified in that. I thought we deserved to go ahead. They've made 2 or 3, I think 3 changes at half time, which, they've obviously got themselves right back into the game after half time with a good goal. I haven't seen it back, but it looked like a well-worked goal. And then obviously the melee and stuff like that with the red card and Jake getting sent off put us down to 10 men, and then it was obviously great for the lads coming off the bench then to combine to go and win us the game with a great finish.
I don't know if you've been told why or if you're 100% sure why, but in commentary we speculated, Colin and I, but I don't think we could say with any great amount of certainty why Jake was given a straight red. Do you know why?
I think his reaction to I think Mali, from my view, Mali had him kind of in a kind of headlock, And then there was obviously a million players came in to try and free Jake from that. But then I think Jake kind of comes back in and I think he raised his hand. So look, the ref's obviously right on hand with that one, and he makes a call, and so we can't really argue with that.
What about the way you won it? It was 1-1, you'd lost a man, but then Lonergan made that burst down the right. He was a sub, he teed it up for Carty, another sub. I'm sure as a manager it's great when those changes work. But the way they worked that goal, it wasn't just about those two, but they were the ones who finished it. You must have been really pleased with that.
Yeah, delighted for the lads, because everybody wants to start games. It's impossible to start everyone. You can only start 11 players, and I think the way the game went, obviously, losing Axel after 3 or 4 minutes with his hamstring, then Tom Gravosti, we hope he's okay. We haven't had any news back on that. He went off after about 20-25 minutes, so we've already kind of down 2 stoppages, so we only had 1 stoppage left. So we kind of rolled the dice and put on 3 players, and thankfully 2 of them combined, and then even Ben at the end had a really good chance to finish it off and cap it at 3-1, and went round Shepherd, and Shepherd got back and made a save. But no, great for the lads great for Tommy. Tommy's obviously he's chomping at the bit. He's wanting to go and get his first goal for the club this season, and but he's working extremely hard, and he's been fantastic, and I think he once he gets 1 goal he will kick on. So but he's come on and he's set up the winner for us, which for me is just as good as scoring the goal.
The atmosphere and the noise at the end of this game was at a level that I've never witnessed here, and I've been coming here a long time and doing games for the start of this season and a lot of last season. Does it feel like more than 3 points, given the way you got the win and the circumstances that you got them in, or got the win in?
Yeah, I can see what you mean. It's still 3 points at the end of the day, but yeah, I think the circumstances surrounding it, I think, it's obviously been a difficult day for myself and my family as well. My wife's father died this morning as well.
Okay, I'm very sorry, I didn't know that. I'm sorry to hear that. Okay.
We spoke to the group about that before the game, and like that, life is short, it's precious. You're not going to be a football player forever, so go out and make memories, and I think they've certainly done that tonight with the effort, and you look at the work rate they put in. I think fans respond to that. We can't always guarantee that we're going to play well, but we can guarantee that we're going to work our socks off every game and for the full 90 minutes, and I'm very proud of the players tonight that they went out and done that, and it was a fantastic atmosphere, and it's one that we'll remember, and we obviously now need to back it up next week.
Okay, well look, regards to your wife and your family. I'm sorry for your loss. Thanks for talking.
Please, thank you.
We had everything going in our favour second half, and we just gave up a terrible goal. So, from that point of view, we only have ourselves to blame. Yeah, we didn't exploit them enough. When they went down to 10 men, there wasn't enough, probably from our point of view, incisiveness or precision and real relentlessness to go beat the door down, I suppose. So, from that point of view, it's disappointing. As you said, I thought we started the second half well and we had a good foothold in the game. And I thought, when we equalised, there was only going to be 1 winner, but you can't give up. You can't give up the goals we're giving up at the minute. We're just giving up sloppy goals, and we got to eradicate that. Obviously, it's just disappointing tonight. We had the game in our palm, in the lap of our laps, and we gave it away.
Stephen, you kept the players in. I think it's over an hour after the game in the dressing room. Was it home truths? Was it shouting? What we
just let's. It was just good, honest chat. It wasn't shouting or bawling. It was like, we got to improve. We got to get better. From a constructive point of view, everyone involved and talking about it.
It was just a little bit off tonight. You had a lot of possession. The stats, a lot of them were in your favour. What was it? What cost you the point or the 3 points?
Look, when you we didn't start the game great. I thought we were a little bit. I thought it was there to be, to really go and exploit them. And I thought we got a foothold 10 minutes before half time and then after it. And then when the second half happened, the game got a bit emotional, got messy, and it galvanised them a little bit. And then when it died down a little bit and we had all the possession, we didn't penetrate enough,
This is the ExtraTime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast, and that was Stephen O'Donnell, the Dundalk head coach, following their 2-1 loss at St. Pat's. And you could probably hear it in the background there, anti-Stephen O'Donnell chants. There was a small crowd of St. Pat's supporters who waited around. They were outside the ground and they were chanting at him. Quite frankly, I could think of better things to do with my Friday night than chant at my former manager, but there you go. Now, I've no doubt that you've seen or heard about it. The sick things that were shouted at Stephen Bradley, the Shamrock Rovers head coach at Turner's Cross. The abuse came from outside of the ground, and Cork City have been very swift to absolutely condemn it and those responsible for it. I'm a Cork City fan. I'd add my voice to that. Whoever shouted those kind of things at Stephen Bradley about his family, there is no place for them in any League of Ireland club or following any League of Ireland club. And all reasonable League of Ireland fans would say that, would agree with that. All reasonable people. Stephen Bradley wants them banned for life. I would absolutely agree with that. And this is a link I have had to re-record several times because it's hard to describe what happened, and it's hard to describe those people without using swear words. But we all know what they are. And if you know who they are, then you need to tell Cork City or Shamrock Rovers or the Gardaí, because those people have absolutely no place, and I'll say this as a Cork City fan, around our club. And I'll repeat it, all Cork City fans, all reasonable ones, would agree with that. This is what Cork City have had to say about it. This is what they said on Twitter fairly quickly last night, it has to be said. This tweet went up at 10:25. Cork City FC wish to unreservedly condemn the actions of a handful of individuals who directed disgusting abuse at Shamrock Rovers manager Stephen Bradley from outside the stadium shortly after tonight's match. The club will work with all relevant authorities to identify those involved and to take the appropriate action against those involved. On behalf of the club, we wish to apologise to Mr. Bradley for the actions of these individuals. This podcast is all about football and voice notes, and on most occasions, fans and supporters and players and managers and analysts use their voices well. They use it to talk about something they love. But we have to be careful in how we use our voice. And when you use your voice to send a sick message and say sick things like these people did, then you need to have a long, hard look at yourself. And I'll say it again, if you know who these people are, inform the Gardaí, inform Cork City, inform Shamrock Rovers. They have no place in any League of Ireland club or around any League of Ireland club. The abuse came from outside the ground, but it's just not acceptable. As for the match itself, well, Shamrock Rovers had 3 players sent off and lost 1-0. Stephen Bradley not happy with the referee after the game, as you can imagine. Former Cork City fullback Neal Horgan watched it for us and afterwards sent us this voice note.
Quite bizarre game in Turner's Cross tonight. Cork City 1-0 winners over Shamrock Rovers. Not a result that many people would have foreseen, and not a game that the likes of I haven't seen for a long time. The game was mute in the first half, not a lot happening. Rovers probably on top. A few chances here or there for the likes of Richie Towell. Put 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper, was unlucky with another dipping volley, but nothing much happening till Richie Towell received his marching orders for what seemed like an off-the-ball incident. Hard to see what the ref, Sean Grant, picked up. He received his marching orders just before half-time. Second half turned into something of a bizarre spectacle when 2 more Shamrock Rovers players were sent off within 5 to 10 minutes. First sub Johnny Kenny came on and was seemed to be given out about a tackle where he was put into the advertisement board. Literally 30 seconds after coming on, got a yellow, and then within another minute of that, perhaps, or maybe 2 minutes, he was late going in on Josh Honahan. But to be fair to Johnny Kenny, it looked a bit harsh in my eyes to be getting a second yellow for that, even though it would have been a foul. Then things got worse for Rovers when Sean Hoare was adjudged to have made a dangerous tackle. It's probably a bit more merit in that yellow card than Johnny Kenny's, to be fair, and also receiving his marching orders. It was 0-0 at that stage, and 0-0 up till the 85 minutes. Cork City trying to go past an unusual formation for Shamrock Rovers. Firstly, they resorted to 4-3 formation, and following that, for the, I suppose, last 15 minutes or so, they had a 3-2-1 formation, 3-3-1 formation, keeping first Jack Byrne up front, and then Aaron Green, who came on and ran gamefully. Lopez and other Shamrock Rovers defenders on the night defended fantastically to keep the game at 0-0. With only 8 men Cork City found it very hard to break them down. They didn't seem to have the cutting edge, trying, I suppose, spectacular crosses and shots from long range for too long before finally good work from Daniel Kresovic and Kevin Kostovic, two signings for Cork City this year, who Kostovic in particular played very well tonight, I felt, when he moved into the middle of the park. Resulted in a Rory Keating again being the hero for Cork City with a lovely finish and a very well worked goal with about 5 minutes to go. After that, perhaps 10 minutes to go, after that, City were in control. There was, I suppose, a bit of danger that the Rovers were dangerous from set pieces and the like, but they couldn't really garner any energy to get back into the game, and it finished here 1-0 to Cork City. And I think referee Sean Grant won't be a popular man with the Rover supporters tonight. What was a bizarre result.
This is the ExtraTime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast, and that was former Cork City fullback Neal Horgan, who watched an extraordinary series of events in Turner's Cross. Shamrock Rovers with 3 players sent off in a 1-0 defeat to Cork City. It finished scoreless between Bohs and Shelbourne at Dalymount Park in the Owen Heary derby. So it's only right that we get the man himself to send us a voice note, which he did, and here it is.
Hi Oisin, just home from the game tonight, Dublin derby between Bohs and Shells. Not the best game to be honest. Both teams cancelled each other out, worked hard off the ball. Defensively we were very good. Neither keeper had to make a save throughout the game. Closest any team came to scoring was Bohs in the first half, and Ali Q free kick about 20, 25, 30 yards out, clipped the top of the crossbar. Other than that, no talking points, and both teams got home with a point.
This is the ExtraTime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast, and that was Owen Heary, who watched Bohs scoreless draw with Shelbourne. Let's go to Weavers Park. Drogheda 3-1 victors against UCD. There for us, and of course for LOI TV and LMFM, was Paul Crowley, and afterwards he sent us this voice note.
Drogheda United came out winners in the end, deserved winners come the end of the game with a 3-1 victory. Didn't start off so great for them with Adam Wells' goal on 20 minutes with UCD taking a shock lead. It was about tonight for Kevin Doherty's side after talking to him before the game was just getting the result after last week's result, just trying to put back-to-back wins together. So the performance wasn't as good as it could have been, but listen, as I said, it's just about getting the result tonight. They got back into the game then just on the 42nd minute with Freddie Draper continuing his great form from last week on the 42nd minute. Looked very close to being offside. I think the UCD bench were stood up and just really claiming for an offside, but he doesn't hesitate and he just puts the ball in the back of the net and then looks across as any good striker should. Looking like the game is going to go in at half-time into 1-1, and Freddie Draper again in the 45th minute, who again 3 goals in a week is in some run of form. Gives Drogheda the lead at half-time in a half that looked like it was going to finish scoreless. Come the second half, UCD started bright, really had a go at Drogheda in the first 10 minutes. Drogheda just sat behind the ball and just dug in, looking for that third goal the whole time. Then as the second half grew on, UCD looking to get back into the game, looking like they might have got back into it, but again, Dylan Grimes, who arrived late in the box, just took a chance on a throw-in. Freddie Draper flicked on. He made a great run from deep midfield and just took a chance and gambled as he had a few times in the game, and this one paid off, and he just gets his toe on the end of it just to make it 3-1. Probably just a bit far. Game's out of reach then for UCD at 3-1 with a team that doesn't score a lot of goals. Drogheda had 3 players looking like they could have missed the game next week if they received yellow cards, so they escaped that also tonight with Cork City's massive win, as you would have heard tonight, against Shamrock Rovers. So that's Cork and Drogheda in the last 2 weeks, back-to-back wins. So it sets up for a thrilling encounter next week as Cork City come up here to Weavers Park. So Drogheda in good form, looking for to pick up 9 points out of 9 come next week, but they're going to face an informed Cork City side, so a real thriller next week. But it finished as 3-1 Drogheda United.
This is the ExtraTime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast, and that was Paul Crowley, who watched Drogheda get a 3-1 win against UCD. We'll run through the table in just a moment, but first, in the first division, Galway United overcame Athlone 3-1. Bray Wanderers drew 2-2 with Cove Ramblers. Kerry FC lost 6-0 at home to Wexford, and Treaty United lost 3-0 to Finn Harps. That is a huge victory for Finn Harps. Tomorrow in the Premier Division at 7:45, Sligo Rovers take on Derry City. It is live on LOI TV, but if you can't get to a TV or a laptop or however you watch games on LOI TV, you can listen to it on Ocean FM, BBC Radio Foyle or Drive 105. You are spoiled for choice. There's a full programme of fixtures in the Women's Premier Division. Shelbourne up against Peamount, DLR Waves take on Bows, Cork City welcome Wexford Youths, Shamrock Rovers take on Galway, and at Lone meet Drogheda United. Previews to all of those games on extratime.com. There will also be match reports, and in the First Division at 7:30 Longford take on Waterford FC. Let's just run through the Premier Division table. Derry City on top on 34 points, Shamrock Rovers second on 33 points, Bows third on 30, Shamrock St Pat's fourth on 29, Dundalk 5th on 26, Shelbourne 6th on 25, Drogheda 7th on 20, Sligo Rovers 8th on 19, Cork City 2nd from bottom on 15, and UCD bottom on 6 points. The Women's National League table: Peamount on top on 25 points, Shamrock Rovers 2nd on 24 points, Shelbourne 3rd on 22 points, Bohemians 4th on 21 points, Galway 5th on 19 points, Athlone 6th on 13 points, Wexford 7th on 13 points, DLR Waves 8th on 8 points, Drogheda United in 9th on 6 points, Sligo Rovers 2nd from bottom on 3 points, and Cork City bottom on 1 point. And while the promotion race, the race for the automatic promotion spot, we should say, isn't all that interesting anymore, because Galway are now 13 points clear of Waterford. Granted, they have played a game more. Maybe the race for the playoffs is interesting. Drogheda United are in 6th position, that's 1 point off the playoffs. Drogheda on 19 points, Athlone in 5th on 20 points, Cove 4th on 23 points, Bray 3rd on 24 points, and Waterford 2nd on 32 points. Kerry bottom on 5, Finn Harps 2nd from bottom on 17, Longford 8th on 17, and Wexford 7th on 18. Well, that's it for the extratime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast, coming to you from Richmond Park. It's Friday night as I talk to you. It's most likely Saturday as you listen. Don't forget, you can read the match reports from all of last night's games on extratime.com, and of course you can get in contact with us via Twitter at Extra Time News. You can get me on at Oisin Langan. Whatever you're up to for the rest of the weekend, enjoy it. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye bye.